Why are some films legendary and others are horrible? We're going to find out. Hi, I'm Craig and I'm a storyteller. In this video, I'm going to describe why we fall in love with movies. Spoiler alert, it's all about the characters. In character-driven films, they work at two levels. The first is the plot. That's what happens on screen. And then the second level is actually a subconscious level that the characters experience. And we, as moviegoers, we also experience what the characters experience on screen in these types of films. And so the plot moves through and it puts this character through this arc, through this story. And we connect with those characters. We attach to those characters. Our emotional, we go through that emotional roller coaster, just like the person on the screen. Okay, so that's the foundation. Now, the 5-second moment of change is that moment when the characters on the screen change from being one way to being another. And Matthew Dix, who's a storytelling guru, he coined this phrase, the 5-second moment of change. Is that instant. And sometimes it's an instant, but it could take up to 5 seconds. And so the character on the screen believed in one thing, or they were one way, and then at some point, something happened, and they change in that moment, and hereafter, they believe something completely different. Here's a story to illustrate. You might have heard it before. There's a boy sitting on a hill. He's bored out of his mind. He's twiddling his thumbs thinking, gosh, what am I going to do today? I can't go anywhere. I got to sit here on this hill until sundown, right? The reason he's got to sit on the hill is because he's tending some sheep. And these sheep are actually the sheep of the entire farm. They're the entire village's sheep, right? And he's the one that has this important job. But he's bored out of his mind. What's he going to do for the next 4 or 6 hours until this grazing is done? Until the sheep can go in their pen and he can go to bed. So he decides he's going to be clever. He gets up and he runs quick down the hill. He runs into one side of the village and he sees an old man. And when he runs up to the old man, he says, "Help, help, help. Please help me. There's a wolf out there." And the old man flips. Oh my God, a wolf attacking the sheep? We could lose all of our investments. We could lose all of our money. We won't have anything to sell. So he gets up, the old man gets up and he scrambles and he just screams and he runs up the hill. And as he's screaming, "Help, help, help, wolf, wolf, wolf," the entire village gets up and they get out of their houses and they run up the hill after him. They all get at the top of the hill. There's a crowd. And they're all looking around. They're straining. And they don't see a wolf. They look at the boy, and he's actually red in the face. He's bent over, and he's laughing because he got them. He got him. Oh my gosh, this was the best. They grumble, they're angry, and all the villagers go back to whatever they were doing before. This boy, he just basks in this trick. He was like so happy. And he just sits back down on the hill and for hours he's so content with what he created, what he did. But something changes. And he gets curious again. And he runs up, and this time he actually runs down the other side of the hill to the other side of the village, and he screams from the moment he starts running down the hill, "Help, help, help, there's a wolf. Please, help, come, there's a wolf." And the same thing happens. All the people on this side of the village, they run out, and they turn around and they run with him because a wolf threatening the villages, it's insane. Everything will be lost. He gets up to the top of the hill. The villagers again. These folks are looking, and the sheep are totally fine. But when they see the boy, they actually see a child lying on the ground, holding his stomach, and he's laughing so hard he can't control himself. He did it again. It's ridiculous. And one of the villagers says, "You can't do that. You can't do that. That's lying. You caused us all panic. We could have gotten hurt." The boy doesn't care. These villagers walk down, and again, for the third time, the boy's on the hill. But this time he kind of looks up at the sky and he sees the clouds, and he falls asleep. The sheep start bleating like they're an emergency. They're bleating really loudly, and they're stampeding. This wakes up the boy, and it's kind of getting dark. And he looks down and he sees that the sheep are like stampeding away from somewhere. Something he doesn't know, but there's a problem. And then he squints his eyes, and he looks down, and oh my God, there's a wolf. And now he runs down the hill, and he runs screaming, "There's a wolf, please help me, please." And he runs around the entire village. "Help, please, help." And none of the doors open. None of the people respond to him. The entire village knows that he's a liar. And it's the third time it's happened. He runs up and he sees that old man and he says, "Please help me. I'm not lying this time. It's real. There's a wolf and he's eating the sheep. I saw him eat sheep. Please stop." And the old man says, "No, I'm not going through this again. I don't trust you." And the boy gets on his hands and knees and he begs, "Please, it's gonna eat all of our sheep. Please, we have to go. Please, believe me." And the old man turns around and walks away. The boy's crying because he knows what's happening. He can't believe that these people don't believe him. He gets up and he slowly, drooping his head, he walks up the hill and he looks down. All the sheep are gone. And he realizes what he's done. That his pranks, his jokes, his lies caused this devastation. So now we're going to talk about that story. What happens? Well, this is the boy who cried wolf. It's a fable that many folks have heard. And in this telling of the story, it's character driven. We're looking at the point of view of the boy, right? We understand what's going on inside of him. And all the things that happen, the thoughts of the boy, the plot, the running, the words, all of those things are the top level. What happens in the story? The second level there is the subconscious of the boy, and just to a little degree, the subconscious of the villagers. And so we attach to both of them when we hear stories like this. The boy is, he thinks he's having fun. And then tragedy strikes, and he realizes that it's not fun. That's what he goes through. That's his arc. Now, the 5-second moment of change is that moment when all is lost. The third time, when the wolf is really there, he gets on his knees and he begs to the man, "Please help me, please. The wolf is going to eat us. Is going to eat the sheep. Please come and help me." And the old man doesn't believe him. That's the 5-second moment of change, when he realizes, oh my gosh, everything's going to be destroyed. And then he confirms it when he walks back up the hill, he sees the scene of all the sheep being gone. Thank you.